industrial ground for the south. So is that Station 2 location, one, in the right spot? And two, is there enough space there to do a main station with this one becoming a satellite substation to keep our two stations? So that's what the architect was for. It's not to really draw an office or draw a garage or draw a bathroom or a training room. It's more of, okay, for 50 years from now, you're going to need 20,000 square foot of apparatus bay. Something like that. That's what I'm looking at.
Do I dare use the words, it's kind of a strategic plan.
Thank you.
I was gonna ask, when you said the plan was always to have that as the Station 1, what plan did that come from?
Oh, well, when that was
built.
So that was built in 2004, and if you look at the north wall, it's all block, so it could have been added on to. It doesn't have the finished pretty brick.
That's correct, okay.
When we did the city's comprehensive plan and capital improvement plan for the future, it was planned in 24, 25 to start a station there. But we had the Y, we had other projects to use, but there's TIF monies available and different monies for that, some. But my concern is, fire chief, the way the town's growing with a truck stop and bypass development and things like that, or do we have enough space, one, to do it there? Or do we need to borrow tennis courts, or do we need to do something like that? Or do we need to find a different piece of ground somewhere? So that's what this architect would help with. And that would give us an idea, so when we go to put together the 24-25 plan, we'll already have the, not the footprint, but the size of the foot. So that's what that was stuck in there for, is that it's already 23 budget, so that's why I put it in.
Okay. Is that an estimate on your part, or?
I actually called an architectural firm.
Why are you guys mowing your own grass and we have a department that does that?
A couple years ago, Brian, we were asked if we would go in on, or put mowing in our budget. And so I went to Brad. We had an old mower that we fixed up, and I said, for the price of what we were going to spend in our budget to mow that lawn once a week, we just mow it with our staff. We get it mowed one or another. Even if I got to go up there at 7 o'clock at night and do it. Just, I'm a taxpayer too, and it didn't make sense to me to outsource that. You know, there's some things we can outsource, but mowing, so we mow around Fire Station 2, we mow around the tennis courts and all that now currently with a mower. I don't mind doing that, but the mower we had, we've made it work, and it's time for a different mower. We actually stole Rex Winkle's that was in his parking lot one day, and he caught us on camera, but he forgave us, but we finished mowing with it, and we had to fix ours. But, so I don't mind doing that. I mean, we have 43 firefighters, somebody will mow it, but as far as why somebody else isn't mowing it, if it's a budget thing, I don't want to spend city money on that. I'd rather spend it on fire equipment or something like that.
We'd probably just contract it out, right? Because we contract out a lot of our mowing already.
And Dave, didn't you say that also gets a little more utilization of the staff that's there?
Right, I mean, we're paying people, and they have a daily chore list they do when they're not responding to emergency calls. So part of that is building upkeep, part of that is equipment upkeep, and part of that is training. So I just wrote it in. We push our own snow. I mean, we have a plow blade, and we put it on our pickup. We do the Fire Station 1 and 2. We also do the police department. So we do our own snow plowing too. So it's just one of the house duties. But Brian, I couldn't see contracting it out. For what we were gonna spend, we're mowing it way cheaper than that.
Right.
Takes 45 minutes. Especially when I'm sit and spin mowers, and that's what I look for, because then we get around the tennis courts and around the trees quick. So that's why that's in there. And then the other fire rescue equipment is turnout gear. I try to replace turnout gear. It's $2,000 just for a coat and a pair of pants. That's not the helmets or the boots or the gloves or the hoods or the pagers or any of that stuff, but we used to do some of that through the county lost grants, and then when they took that away and put it mostly into road use, that kind of went away. That was our little way of replacing turnout gear. We have to replace it every 10 years. So I try to stagger it out so that I don't come to the council in 1 year and say, I need $60,000 worth of turnout gear. I've got just a few sets that come due every year.
How many sets you got, do you?
60.
Sets?
That's 60 sets of turnout gear.
Okay.
Because we have 2 stations, so everybody's got 2 sets, depending on what side of town you're on. If there's a train, you gotta have protective clothing, so that's one of the problems with having 2 stations, but it's a good problem. So,
A question on that, and I'm not gonna micromanage your fire department, but just a curiosity on that. Even with a train, do you really need that?
need
This
what?
is a layman's question, okay?
Okay.
All that turnout gear, 2 for everybody, because by the time half of your people would respond on one side of the tracks, I would think the train would be passed for the other half. I'm just, that
Okay,
seems like overkill to me.
Well, what it is the fires at Rexwinkle Funeral Home, and you pull up at Station 2, if you don't have any turnout gear, you can't do a thing. So you sit there for 10 minutes and watch it burn.
But your other station replied.
The other station is coming, but it's sitting behind the train.
I know that, but you've got one station there, we're starting on it.
No, they don't have any gear. If I don't have 2 sets of gear, you follow me?
Oh, what I was saying was half and half.
Yeah, no, see, I have you, but I don't know where you're at.
I understand that too, but I would
So
always.
if you're on
I'm
the
saying,
south end of town and
if you have
respond to that
me-
station.
If you have me, I would always respond to number 2, because that's my assigned response.
Yeah, we
Now-
don't have, if we had exactly the same equipment at each station, I could do that.
Okay, well, like I say, I'm not.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to explain that, so.
Okay, sounds good.
You would always respond to number 2, unless you were out visiting Doug at the wastewater when the call came in, then you're trapped by the train.
I do get that there are logistics of it.
It's a logistics nightmare is what it is.
Yeah, I do get that.
But if we want to buy like 3 pumper trucks for each side.
There you go.
You know.
Then we
and
need 14 bays.
Jacob, shh.
Okay.
So, I mean, I've run this as bare bones as we can do it. I don't have a lot of capital to give up. We did come up with about $70,000 of donations for equipment that I didn't have to come in and ask for. And so that's kind of where I'm at. If you needed anything, I would say I could give you about half of that turnout gear, $6,000. I mean, we could try to fundraise for some of that again. I mean, we're fundraising all the time.
Dave, I have a revenue question.
Yes.
This relates to the county subsidy.
Yes.
That kind of just gradually but very slowly inches up. Is it in proportion to the demand?
Yeah. So are you talking the rural township fire, Mike, or are you talking EMS side, or which?
Yes.
Okay. So basically what we charge is 45 cents a thousand to the townships, and we cover 7 total or partial townships. And that's a countywide tax, so it doesn't matter if you live in Merrill's Fire District, Lamar's, Olin's, Remsen's, no matter where you're at as a farmer, you pay the 45 cents a thousand. We have not had to raise that tax now since 2017 was the last time we raised that, because the price of farm ground keeps going up and up and up. So as you can see over the years, we keep making more money on the township revenue. And when you figure it per call, Mike, and you figure it for the equipment that we take to the rural, buying turnout gear and all these things, yeah, it's holding its own. It's right where it probably needs to be. The most we can tax by law is 60 3/4 cents, and we're at 45 for Plymouth County. Now on the EMS side, they do give money to the ambulance services. That $60,700 revenue is out of a pot of funds, and it's based on a call total. And of course, as Lamar's, we run the most calls, so we get the most out of that pot of funds. And then they also give funding towards training to the County EMS Association. And we're able to grab some of those funds to train our EMTs and paramedics as well. That is reflected in other revenue sources, 650.
And I'm not gonna be.
So as the ability of some of the other county ambulance services, their ability or capacity diminishes, ours has remained relatively stable?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not gonna take this very far, but confined spaces, you have no revenue here. Has it- how-
Yeah, the confined space falls into the 110,500.
Oh,
That's
okay.
about 25,000 of that,
Okay,
Clark.
good enough, good enough.
About
I
25,000
just
of
didn't see
that.
it as a separate line.
Yep, no, that falls into just fire service
Good
fees
enough.
and revenue.
Okay.
How would you feel about kicking 8,000 for the architect down the road? I don't know.
I would rather,
For next year?
Rob, I'd rather kick the 6 out of turnout gear if you need money.
Okay.
Because I would rather fundraise for turnout gear than go fundraise for an architect. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, if you absolutely need money, I could give up the 6. I did find out that we're in line to get a grant next month possibly from one of our co-op elevators, which would probably cover that, so that's what I'm thinking in the back of my mind.
Right. But like.
I'm glad you think the 8,000 is good for the architect to do that kind of work. I think a healthcare architect would just take a phone call.
Well, we'll take your $6,000. But like bulletproof vests, I don't.
I don't feel good about it.
Well, I don't like to take.
Well, and just like Kevin said, he thought he needed 2, he only needs 1. I'm telling you, I need the 12 grand for 6 set, but I can probably come up with half of that. So they will still get their protective clothing, Clark, if that's where you're heading with that.
Yeah, that's what I don't want
Okay.
to underprotect.
Thank you.
You guys good with that?
Yeah, and I think everybody should look at the numbers that I saw when he showed us what they fundraised
Yes.
versus what they're asking for. It's really a good budget, I think. So,
Now, where are we at, Jacob?
We took 6 away from that, correct?
Scott Connect, page 22.
Scott tonight's gotta get 74,000 off.
I've got a nice list of things you could cut.
I got a lot in your budget too, I can cut. Jacob, on that sweeper, you know, I noticed, I think we still got that full price of $291.
Oh, you're on a different page this week.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna bring this up first real quick. That's part, half storm sewer and half road use tax. But we're at that 291,577, and I had a verbal agreement. I actually got a written agreement. We could, for a $50,000 trade-in, so we could take, I don't know how that affects, but I got that a couple days ago. So that would bring that price down to 241,577 on that sweeper.
What page is that?
Way to go, Scott.
Take one for the team here.
It is under stormwater drainage and also road use.
So half of it is on page 70. I don't know what page road use is up front. All right, say that number again.
That would be,
did you say 50 off there?
yeah, 50, it was 241,577.
What page number is that? 70.
So half of it shows up on 70. The other half is in road use. On what page is that?
That's on 74.
70 and 74 is what we're talking about. Scott's trying to divert our attention.
That's right.
It's helpful.
Slide
So we make each of those 127.89, basically?
Yes.
Yeah. So that saves us 50?
Not from the general fund.
No. Was there enterprise?
Those are in the price.
Oh, never mind, Scott, we take it back.
I know, I knew that wasn't, I tried, but.
What did we just?
It's okay, that didn't look real good anyway, so.
No,
Staying
yeah.
there is good.
But like I said, I finally got something in writing, on that, so that'll.
Let's change that to 127.89, which is 25 off.
Oh.
But it doesn't.
And the same here,
Okay.
but it doesn't affect the general fund.
All right, so we're
There you
back
go.
to page 22 then. Right.
Like I said, we could probably get by on that snow box. That's a, I don't know if you all know what that is, that's a fill-in to haul more snow in the wintertime, but, we could probably get by another year. I could drop that 15,000 out of there.
John?
You said I'm good?
That wasn't
You said I'm
even, that
good?
wasn't even on my
No, don't
list.
look that.
Oh, okay.
Nice one.
What about the angle plow for the loader?
Yeah, I had the
Again,
spreader and
that's
the
for
plow.
cul-de-sacs?
Well, we're gonna try it, for cul-de-sacs and things like cleaning downtown. The biggest problem is, if nobody knows when it's gonna snow. If we gotta come in downtown and we try to start at 1:30 downtown, right after the bars close. But if we have to come in at 4 o'clock, and my guys gotta get out, it takes, about 3 hours for us to clean the 28 blocks downtown and get everything pulled to the middle. So what we try to do is get it done before people get here. So I've had it before where we send the guys out on the routes. I come down with the loader with just a small 8-foot bucket, and I try to get as much pushed into piles and out of the way for downtown cleanup. So that would be one thing that we would use this for. And then we also talked about using it in cul-de-sacs instead of using a pickup. Because right now, I think,
Does he do, Brad?
30, maybe 34 cul-de-sacs. So we think we can be more efficient with that and use it in parking lots and stuff.
As far as downtown goes, if you got that much snow, most of those businesses aren't opening, and when they do,
Oh, they're still-
they blow their sidewalk right in there, and you gotta redo it the next day.
It's always a 2-day deal
Yeah,
downtown,
okay.
it is.
Okay.
But we still, people still come, if it's that bad, it don't matter if it's 2, 3, 4 inches, there's a lot of snow. If you look at the width of Central Avenue,
Sure.
there's a lot of snow, so we hear about it, let me tell you.
The air compressor seems extremely high priced to me.
It's matching up to exactly what we got there.
Really?
Yep.
They're not cheap.
Okay. I mean, I haven't bought one for 20 years, but when I bought my
This
shop
ain't-
air compressor, it was.
Well, this ain't your normal shop air compressor like your garage, But I do have a couple bids on it.
This is like a NASA model?
She's just a 120 gallon, 7.5 horse,
All right.
single phase.
All right, I'm just curious.
Yep.
What were your things, Jason, that you saw?
Oh, I just went, the spreader, I'm just looking at equipment, so spreader and the angle plow were just 2 things I had down. But if he's throwing out the snow box, I thought the pictures that you showed, the snow box was in
It's
bad
bad.
shape.
That looked really bad.
It's bad, but we can can we haul with the truck? Yes, we can still haul with it. We just don't put that insert in it.
Make more
We just make a couple more trips. I'd rather have the angle plow and like I said, the problem is too, right now, downtown alleys with all these apartments getting in, these dumpsters getting inside there. 20 years ago, we used to go drive our plow trucks down these alleys and salt these parking lots. Well, since Brad got the Kubotas, we've been running down once in a while with Kubotas we can't get through these alleys. Like Pizza Ranch over there, we cannot get through, over by, Frontier? We've had some problems over there too. We just can't get down these alleys, we can't get through these parking lots. So we've been using the Kubotas when they're not using them. But as you know, I don't even know what they handle for snow, but we gotta make multiple trips back and forth. Another thing with the pickup spreader, instead of taking a big truck out, when I call people in to salt stop signs, so much faster, so much safer, because we don't have the wing blocking the passenger view. It's just more efficient. So that's why I got that pickup spreader in there.
I'm okay with the snow box too.
Didn't I see somewhere a plow laser?
That was last year's, that's already bought.
No.
I think if we can get by without the snow box, we gotta cut something somewhere. But I did see the pictures of it, it was horrible.
Yeah.
There's nothing left of it.
I think we got 4 other departments to cut back.
And then there was, three.
He's up there taking one for the team a minute ago. No, I am Team Scott, but there's an M and a D.
Yeah.
When are they gonna unite? That'd be the
Yeah.
problem.
I will say, we could, like looking at the spreader and the angle plow and the snow plows, we could, instead of using general fund money for that, we could up our transfer in from road use. Cause I mean, those are
Very much
specific
road use,
road
road
use
use.
things. So we could increase that and kind of offset that.
That
As
fund
long
balance
as
is
we still
good.
fix,
Yep.
as long
Yeah,
as we still
it's-
fix streets.
I know we still have streets to fix, so I don't wanna steal all that money, but.
Donuts and coffee tomorrow?
And
No.
I hate to be the guy that keeps doing this, going the wrong direction with this stuff, but with Christmas decorations, we've got some private parties really putting a lot of energy into Christmas decorations. Is this enough? I mean, well,
This is to replace bulbs.
This is just-
The existing ones.
I mean, if you look at the ones on 75,
I know that they were dull.
they're dull, but there is some that are pretty rusty. If you take them down, look at them, drive by, they look pretty good, but they're bad. They're bad, I mean, we can get by,
That's what I'm going.
yeah, but
Is it
I was
enough?
just trying to, yeah.
No, I'm saying, is it enough, not the other way?
That is just to replace the bulbs to get the brighter bulbs for downtown.
All right.
Yeah.
So are you moving the $24,000